All right, so we're back with another video today here. In this video, I have 5 fragrances that I recently picked up, just giving my initial thoughts on these fragrances and, kind of going over how I feel about these so far. And I will say, man, I think really all 5 of these fragrances are definitely keepers for sure so far. So just to kind of go over each one here and let you all know what each one is. The first one is from Arabiat Prestige. This one I actually just got today. And this one is Arabiat Prestige's Al Noor. So this is their take on, BDK's Gris Charnel Extrait. So this does smell so far really, really good. The next one is from Fragrance World, and this one is Fragrance World's Inizio, I believe is what it's called. Inizio For Him. This is supposed to be their interpretation of Tumi's Dusk. So I also was very impressed by this one as well. The next one, I think out of all of these may have been like my favorite one actually, and this one is from Katla's. And this is Katla's Caffe Latte. So this is their take on Amor Cafe from Mancera. And the next one was Latafa's Dynasty. All right. So I had seen this one at least probably about a month or so ago in like a fragrance group. Didn't actually pick it up. I think one of the main reasons why I didn't pick it up is because I thought that this was like a Dolce & Gabbana K clone or something like that. But at least from what Fragrantica is saying anyway, this is supposed to be the Clive Christian L something T vetiver. Like I'll have the name on screen. I can't remember exactly what it's called, but do have a sample of that one coming so I can see, exactly how close this comes to it. But yeah, man, I really did enjoy this one a lot as well. And then the last one here is an interpretation of a fragrance that I actually used to own for like a short period of time. And this one is Notes Jazz from Fragrance World. This one is their take on Goldfield and Banks Silky Woods. All right. So let's go ahead and let's start with the Al Noor. So like I mentioned, I just got this one in today. So, I haven't even given this one like a full wearing so far yet. But what I will say is this does smell very, very good. The only other Gris Charnel Extrait interpretation that I had smelled before this was the Masad from Al Wataniya. And this, to me, while yes, it did smell, kind of close to the original, the cardamom in this, especially in the opening, it did not sort of like hit the mark for me anyway. The cardamom is nowhere near as strong and, as like in your face as what it is in the Gris Charnel Extrait. Whereas with this, you could arguably say that the cardamom in this is actually stronger than what it is in Gris Charnel Extrait. So this does come off with that same sort of aggressive, masculine sort of, fresh, spicy cardamom that you get from the Gris Charnel Extrait, mixed with that, black tea and fig and vanilla. It's just a very, very nice scent, man. And it smells super high quality as well. That's definitely what I can say. Easily, this is one of the better, interpretations that I've smelled of that scent profile. And obviously, I guess you could say my expectations really with anything that comes in this bottle style from Arabiat Prestige is going to be pretty high because of, what they did with Marwa and Imagination. So, this, at least from what I can tell, it doesn't have like a super harsh opening compared to the original. Like this is definitely more sort of aggressive and stronger than the original for sure, like more amped up on the cardamom. but it doesn't have like this weird off-putting smell like the way that Marwa did to Imagination for like the first couple of minutes. This does smell very, very good, and it smells like they intentionally have kind of amped up the way that Gris Charnel X-Straight smells. It does smell stronger than that fragrance in general. So I really do like this one a lot, man. I'll need to give this one a full wearing and then also compare it to the original. But so far, Noor seems to be pretty good, man. So no performance, thoughts so far. Like I said, these are just my initial thoughts on all of these fragrances, but I do think, this is pretty good. I want to say I paid like around $45 or so for this fragrance. So really, really good, man. Definitely check out Herbiat Prestige's Noor. All right, the next one on the list, this one is the Notes Jazz. So Notes Jazz from Fragrance World. Like I said, this is their take on the Goldfield and Banks Silky Woods. Now, the reason why I don't think I actually featured Silky Woods in any videos that I had done during the time that I had that fragrance was because when I got it, when I initially sprayed it on, I immediately regretted it. Like, it definitely was not like a love at first sniff for me. And I tried to give it like several wearings afterwards before I just sold it. And it was just something in the undertone of that fragrance that didn't really agree with me and my skin. After kind of looking on Fragrantica, I've seen other people kind of complain about something with the fragrance as well, where they kind of say it has like this sort of Band-Aid type of smell to it. At least in my mind, I didn't really associate it with smelling like Band-Aids, but it was something weird about the fragrance to me. Whereas with the Notes Jazz, I don't really get that same feeling from this fragrance. Now, I don't know if it's because maybe I was wearing that fragrance in the wrong season. I mean, when I first got, the Silky Woods, it was still the summertime. So, when I initially sprayed it on, still hot outside. So that may have played a role in how my mind kind of perceived that fragrance coming off of my skin. Just for whatever reason with me, I'm not necessarily the person that likes to necessarily wear like certain fragrances like at any point, in the year. So like if it's a fresher fragrance, I tend to enjoy that fragrance a lot more when it's hotter outside. If it's like a sweet, darker fragrance, if I wear it in the summertime, I don't enjoy it, not necessarily because it might be like cloying or anything like that, but at least for me, my brain just doesn't perceive the smell the same way as what I would like if I wore it in cooler weather. So I think that may have had something to do with it. I'll have to see once I get my sample of Silky Woods here. But I mean, so far, wearing this fragrance the couple of times that I have, this seems to be a little bit more enjoyable for me. I don't know if this has a little bit more like vanilla sweetness to it rather than woods, or if something else is different, but something seems to be different with this fragrance than what it is with the Goldfield and Banks, and I actually seem to like it a lot more with this. So I mean, with the Goldfield and Banks, that fragrance to me, just overall, it smelled a little bit different than what I like expected it to smell like. To me, it kind of smelled like very kind of warm, creamy, but yet at the same time, you could say slightly kind of like burnt wood mixed with vanilla for the most part. Whereas with this, I'm getting more of sort of like just a straight kind of creamy, suede type of, woody, vanillic type of scent. All right. So yeah, man, I mean, so far I am really enjoying this one. The performance that I've gotten so far out of wearing this has been very good as well. So I've gotten easily, I would say 8+ hours wearing this fragrance, and the projection, even with the original, Silky Woods, was not like super beast mode. So it hasn't been with this either. but it definitely has been enough projection to where, you know, I can still get wafts of this fragrance, you know, 6-7 hours into the fragrance. So does perform pretty decent, you know, straight out of the box, at least for me here. So again, man, I would say definitely check out Notes Jazz from Fragrance World. The next one on the list, this one is the Inizio, I believe is how you pronounce it, For Him from Fragrance World. So obviously the bottle does look very kind of reminiscent to the original To Me Dawn fragrance. Or I don't remember, and I'll have it on screen. I don't remember if it's Dawn or Dusk. It's one of those two from To Me. But basically the bottle looks, you know, it's this same color. It looks almost the same as this. And this is definitely more of like a fresh, I would say, spring and summertime scent. This actually, to me, it kind of reminds me of what I was expecting BDK's Citrus Riviera to smell like. So I did also own that fragrance, and I just recently raffled it off in a group. That fragrance, while I did enjoy the way that it smelled, it did also smell very kind of similar to stuff that I was already kind of familiar with. So it smells, Citrus Riviera smells very kind of similar to stuff like Tom Ford's Mandarino Diamalfi, smells similar to like Hesperide Colognese from Nishane. And I would say, you know, this also is kind of within like that sort of same realm. But the thing that I like about this is this definitely projects better off of my skin than what something like, you know, the Citrus Riviera did. And again, I'm not saying that this smells like Citrus Riviera, because there are definitely some differences, but there are some similarities just overall in the scent profile in general. And yeah, man, this definitely, it projects better off of my skin. And I don't know, just the way that it comes across, it's a little bit more of an enjoyable scent for me. I'll have to see how it kind of compares to, you know, like the original To Me once I get the, you know, the sample for that one in. But this so far, I mean, for what especially for what I paid for it, I think this one was like $35-$40 on Fragflex for 100 ml. This is a very high quality smelling scent. I would say that for sure. You don't get any sort of alcohol blast with this. And it definitely, it has kind of like that, like middle, like Mediterranean, kind of like citrusy, slightly like herbal type of smell to it. Like I said, it's very similar to stuff like Mandarino Diamalfi. It is, I would say, really the scent. That's the scent that I would kind of compare this to. You know, like if I were to describe it, it definitely gives you like Mandarino Diamalfi type vibes. So very bright, like I said, citrusy, slightly kind of herbal. I would say Mandarino Diamalfi is probably a little bit more sharper than this. And then, you know, something like BDK Citrus Riviera is definitely a lot more, I would say, subdued. And it also, the BDK has like a eucalyptus note that kind of adds like this sort of cooling effect to it, almost like a aromatherapy, like, you know, cooling effect. Whereas I feel like with this is more kind of focused on like the citruses and like the herbs. But yeah, man, this one is very nice as well, man. Like I said, I'll have to compare this to the original to see like how close it comes. But this so far seems to be a keeper for the collection, especially for the spring and summertime. Performance, like I said, the projection is decent. You know, I would say probably like an arm's length or so for the first hour and a half. And then I believe the longevity so far that I've gotten on this is like around that kind of like 7-hour mark or so. So, you know, definitely not terrible, but not like the longest lasting fragrance either. All right. So Definitely check out Inizio For Him from Fragrance World. All right, the next one on the list, this one is Latifah's Dynasty. Like I mentioned, I had seen this in like a Facebook group probably like a month or so before I actually got it. And I just didn't pick this one up because I didn't even know really what it was interpreting. But looking at the bottle, I thought it was interpreting like Dolce & Gabbana's K, mainly because of the cap. But this, like I mentioned, is interpreting, according to Fragrantica anyway, it's interpreting a Clive Christian fragrance. I'll be confirming whether or not that's the case or not once I get my sample of the Clive Christian fragrance. I've seen other people online compare it to something else. So I don't know. I mean, I'll have to see what it actually is. I can only go off of, the information that I have available to me. But this does have like a really nice, like if you like tea scents like I do, you will definitely enjoy this one. This is more of kind of like this is a very kind of spicy sort of tea. I know they mentioned the note of like I think it's called rubus tea or something like that. I've never had that particular tea before, at least not to my knowledge anyway. So I don't really have a lot of experience with that particular type of tea. But it does kind of smell more of sort of like a darker, I believe it's like supposed to be like a reddish sort of colored tea. So it definitely, it has more sort of like a darker, spicier sort of smell to it. At least in this fragrance anyway, it does. Yeah, man, this is actually really, really good. This is blended really well. So like when you first spray this one, there's no like alcohol blast or anything like that. I'm expecting that if this is actually like an interpretation of the Clive Christian fragrance, that the Clive Christian is probably going to be considerably better than what this is. But I mean, for what this goes for, I mean, I think I got this for like $30 to $40 or so. This is definitely like signature scent worthy for sure. Has a very kind of easygoing, inoffensive, like fresh, clean type of smell to it. Calming. And like I said, it does kind of have a slightly sort of spicy edge to it as well. And it has the right amount of sweetness too. Like it's not overly sweet. It doesn't smell like, like a cheap sort of clone, because that's sometimes the way that these interpretations can kind of go. They can add too much sweetness and just completely change like the overall character of the fragrance. Again, I haven't smelled the original, but I don't feel like that's the direction that they went in with this one. Is it the most natural smelling like tea that I've ever smelled? No, but again, for the price point, this does smell very high quality. The couple of times that I've worn this fragrance, the longevity on it has been okay. I would say like around 6 to 7 hours maximum. And the projection on it is moderate. So I would say slightly under arm's length for like the first hour and a half. So far, man, I really enjoyed this one a lot. I'll have to kind of give this one more wearings and also kind of let it maturate. But I think, so far, unless the Clive Christian just blows this one completely out of the water, I do think that this will be a keeper for me. So again, man, definitely check out Latifah's Dynasty. All right, and then the last one on the list, man, this is, I would say, probably one of my favorite coffee scents really that I've smelled so far, man. This one is Cutler's Caffe Latte. So this is their interpretation of Amore Cafe from Mancera. What I like about this one is this isn't just like straight coffee. And it's a very kind of like spiced latte sort of coffee. Not like a dark roast coffee. There's not like dark chocolate or anything like that mixed in this one. This is like a very kind of light spiced sort of, latte coffee mixed with almond, mixed with some cream, It does definitely have a sweet sort of gourmandish type of feel to it, but it does it in a way to where, to me, it's not like overly feminine. This is still like a unisex scent for sure, in my opinion. Um, and I mean, again, I would say this so far has been one of my most enjoyable, like coffee scents that I've ever smelled. I haven't smelled the original yet. I do have a sample of that one coming. But from what I've seen other people say about, the difference between this and the original is this seems to be a lighter version of a more cafe from Mancera. Obviously with Mancera fragrances, they're known for being like super strong in beast mode. I would say if this is actually lighter than what the original is, then I'm totally okay with that, because the performance on this is actually still very good. So longevity wise, this easily lasts on me over 10 hours. And as far as the projection goes, yeah, it's not like super beast mode, but I feel like it's just enough to where you're always able to smell this fragrance on you. And yeah, I mean, it never really like goes away. At the same time, though, it never becomes like headache inducing or cloying or anything like that. So for this to be like more of a sweeter gourmand style type of scent, this is still a very wearable, scent at the same time, in my opinion. So yeah, man, I really do enjoy this one a lot. I would say, I'm not anticipating that the Mancera is gonna like blow me away. Who knows? That may happen, but so far I am very happy with this one. And I mean, I was able to pick this one up on the Banneter website for $30. So, this is a 100 ml bottle, I believe. Yep. For $30, again, for this to be my favorite coffee scent that I've smelled, I think that's a really good deal, man. So definitely, again, man, check out Caffe Latte from Codlish. All right, and those are the fragrances. Like I said, those are my initial thoughts on these fragrances. I'll have reviews and comparisons on each one of them coming up. And definitely let me know what your thoughts on these fragrances are, if you have any or all of these fragrances. Definitely let me know in the comments. Also, I'll have links in the description to where you can pick all of these fragrances up. And if you're brand new to the channel, do me a favor, go ahead and subscribe. And again, that's Jamar from Vegas Scents. I'll see y'all in the next video.